My absolute favorite Japanese memory. I met Kamimura. He's the art director for Neon Genesis Evangelion. And since I speak Japanese, I was their translator. And we went to this restaurant. The staff brings out these cowboy hats and these bandanas.
Oh
And
no.
Kamimura was all for it. He's like, fuck yeah, I'm in Texas. I'm gonna wear a 10-gallon hat and boots with spurs. And
Oh.
I have a picture with me like giving this big goofy grin with the art director for Neon Genesis Evangelion in a cowboy hat.
God. Welcome everyone to the 9th episode of the Earth to Mars podcast. I am the real Mars Bar, and I am joined today from Earth by my friend Jacob J Taka Takanashi.
Hello, thank you for having me. Appreciate you.
Now, Jacob is what I like to call a modern day Renaissance man. He doesn't like it when I call him it anyway. When he's not in the studio working on voice acting or playing music or working on projects for Anime Matsuri or streaming on Twitch under DickPlanet, he's probably spending time with his lovely wife. I've met Jacob through the work that I've done with Anime Matsuri here in Houston, and he's been like a super pleasure, nice guy to see around, like talk to. He's always been nothing but great, helpful, wonderful, and I knew I had to have him on after I saw all the amazing projects he's been working on the last year, and that's why we have him here on Marz. Jacob, thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much. Thank you. How do you like the gift that NASA sent you? Those Curiosity rovers and stuff. They getting on your nerves yet, or how are they over there?
It's like they leave like dirt everywhere, which is like a lot. And it's just kind of annoying. I could kind of do without it, but they do make great can openers, so it is what it is.
Good deal. At least you're getting something out of it, guys. I mean, first man on Mars, only man on Mars, from what I understand. But
Yeah.
it's good they gave you an internet service. So shout out to Comcast, not a sponsor.
I'll take it. Yeah, I use Spectrum. Funnily enough, Spectrum only works up here. It doesn't work down there on Earth, but it works up here.
Hey, there you go. Yeah, I've heard some horror stories, buddy.
Awesome. So one of the things the first thing that I kind of wanted to talk to about is Anime Matsuri, right? That's how I know you from. It was a giant thing when I helped out, and I just kind of wanted to hear from you. So if y'all don't know, Anime Matsuri is like a giganto. What is it? It's in the top, like, in North America.
Second largest anime convention in North America.
In North America, goddamn, second
Anime
largest.
convention.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, that's all I go to. Right here in Houston, Texas. And Jacob, correct me if I'm wrong. You do. Just say it because I don't want to be wrong. Special projects.
Special projects and international relations.
And international relations. Awesome. So, I just kind of wanted to hear you talk about it because I never really asked. I don't really know what you do. So if you could talk a little bit about, how long have you been working there at Anime Matsuri, or how you got started with it? I would love to hear it.
Yeah, dude. I'll give you the whole spiel. So way back in 1991, I was born. No, I'm joking. I want to say maybe around 2016, 2015. I was flying back and forth at the time from Houston, Texas to Japan every single month because I was working a job that had like a 14 days on and 14 days off rotation.
Gotcha.
So on my 14 days off, I would just rock into Houston, stay a day for my flight, and then I would fly back to Japan to be with my family and my wife and everything like that.
Love it.
Which was great at the time. So one of these times, a good friend of mine, his name is Josh. The chat, or the Baller Squad would know him as Coronavirus Patient Zero because he's my roommate. And he's very Vietnamese.
Gotcha. Fair enough.
That's the name they've so affectionately given him. He hit me up while I was staying at the Hilton, and he was like, "Hey man, like there's this awesome anime convention. You got to come check it out. If you're in town." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm in town for like a day. Like I've got nothing to do. I'm just sitting in a hotel jacking off to hotel porn. So yeah, I'll go." So he was like, I was like, "Where is it?" He was like, "It's at the George R. Brown Convention Center, adjacent to the Hilton de las Americas." I was like, "I'm staying at the Hilton de las Americas. That explains why all these kooky costumes are around. Sure, I'll come downstairs and I'll meet you and we'll go hang out." And that was my first year, and I just attended that year as an attendee, and I loved it. I fell in love. I was like, okay, I'm doing this every year. I'm marking my calendar. This is like a new thing for me now.
Love it.
So fast forward to the next year. I had brought my wife with me and everything like that, and she was interested in joining the fashion show because at the time, the people who own Anime Matsuri, they
Mhm.
had a fashion brand, and they had all these different Lolita brands, which is
Cool.
like a type of fashion in Japan.
Okay.
My wife
Oh,
was
okay.
like,
I
"Hey,
thought it
like
was.
something else." No, all these different types of Lolita brands, Angelic Pretty and Alice and the Pirates and all these different brands.
Mhm.
My wife was like, "Hey, like I really want to try for that fashion show, but I'm nervous. Can you apply with me?" Because she was nervous about applying. My
Gotcha.
wife at the time didn't speak English very well, so
Oh.
she said it would make me a lot more comfortable if you would apply with me. And me being a good husband and not thinking I would get the job, I was like, "Yeah, sure, I'll apply with you. I'll apply with you. It's the least I can do. It makes you feel better. I'll apply with you.
Supportive
I'll come to you.
husbands.
You're like
Let's go.
girls and
Let's
everything like
go.
that. We'll do
Yeah.
that." So we both applied, and we both got accepted, which is a shock to me because I am not a very handsome man.
What did you? Oh, you also applied for the fashion show.
Yeah. For
Oh,
as a
gotcha.
model.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So I got the gig as a runway model in the fashion show.
Love it.
Awesome. Which I was not anticipating. It's like, well, shit. Like this isn't. This wasn't supposed to happen. So I go into some of the rehearsals, and of course, they're Japanese brands, so there are like people like representatives from the different brands like at the big like dress rehearsal meeting
Mhm.
where we're going over everything, and like they had translators and everything, but like I can speak Japanese, so I'm gonna speak Japanese to the Japanese people to help
Yeah.
these shit, because I don't want to like, oh, hold on, let me go get the translator and then we can talk about what.
Yeah. You're just like,
So,
hey,
like,
what's up?
So like I could tell like the lady, I was walking for a brand called Boz, Ulterior Boz, which is kind of like a gothic Lolita
Oh,
brand.
like the tiny
And I
little
could
top
tell she
hat
was-
and stuff. The
Yeah,
long
the
like
top
coat,
hats and like the giant shoes, Kingdom Hearts looking
coattails.
stuff,
Love it.
you know?
Love it.
And there was a lady named Shiva. She was like the head designer. Really nice lady. Really nice lady.
Mhm.
And I could tell like she wanted to tell one of the models something, and I could tell like her English was not all there. So in Japanese, I walk up to her and was like, "Hey, what do you want to tell him? I'll translate it in English for you." And she was like, "Oh, thank God you're here," because like the translator was off translating for AP, so like everyone had to
Gotcha.
like wait their turns into. So I translated for her like pretty much the whole time. We exchanged information. I was like, "Yeah, dude, if you need anything, I'm gonna be at the convention. I don't work for AM, but if you need anything or you need a translator, like I'm happy to help. I'm just like looking at hentai over in the hentai booth."
Yeah. Yeah.
So I gave her my information, and sure enough, she hit me up like one or two times, like, "Hey, like, can you like see if you can like I've requested you to be able to come into this back room so I can talk to this person, because I
Oh.
was just an attendee. So
Yeah.
Anime Matsuri at the time was like, who's this guy that we don't know translating for our guest? But she really liked me. So I
Awesome.
was like, oh, I'm Jacob. I'm
Who
one of the models
couldn't
in the
love
fashion
you?
show.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the girl who was in charge of the fashion show that year, she appreciated the shit out of that so much.
Love
like
it.
so fucking much. She was like, after the show, she was like, "Hey, thank you so much. I know you're not staff, but I know you worked like for free and shit like that." Because usually translation's expensive. Like they can go to the fucking embassy and like hire people and shit.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It's usually
Okay.
pretty expensive. So like, hey, bud, like I appreciate you so fucking much. What are you doing for next year? Because we want to like bring you on so you can do this for us. I'm like, fuck yeah, dude, I'll do that. So I started off as like a lower level translator, and I think 2016 was my first year as like not staff, but as like a high end volunteer, like one of the like
Gotcha.
holy shit volunteers. that
More
gets into, like, the
responsibilities.
after party and shit.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah. So I did that, and I helped translate, for guests and everything, and it was fucking great. So Denise, who runs Anime Matsuri, she's the chairman and CEO.
Mhm.
She had hit me up like throughout the year to model in a couple other fashion things that she had going on. Because remember, I had mentioned at the time they had like a whole brand going on. So she was like, "Hey, like we're modeling for this brand. Do you think you can come and translate and also walk the runway?" And at this
Oh.
time, I had gotten my corporate job, so I was no longer living in Japan. I was living in Houston. So I
Gotcha.
was like, "Yeah, you got me throughout the year. Anything I can help with, I want to help with." And in doing that, I kind of got closer to the upper level staff, and like Denise and John got to know me by name. So like, well, hey, like if you're translating for this, if we sent you some emails, could you maybe like translate some of these emails for the guests? Because like we're spending all this money on translation. But if you speak Japanese and you don't mind,
Right.
could you do that for us? I was like, yeah, it's like 3 minutes of my time out of the day to translate
Like whatever.
some emails.
Doo-poo-doo-poo-poo.
Yeah, so like, okay, well, we're gonna make you staff. We're gonna give you an email address, and you're just gonna be like a liaison between us and them.
Love it.
And in getting to know John and Denise, I got to talking to them about my day job, which is an engineer. I'm an engineer. So they're like, oh, well, that's really fucking useful. You know what I mean? Like, we could use that, like, because you have a stamp and everything. Like, what do you know about, like, designing booths? What do you know about, like, floor spaces and, like AutoCAD and all these softwares and
Yeah,
shit?
yeah, yeah.
I was like, oh, I know a good bit about AutoCAD. I work on AutoCAD all the fucking time. So at that point, it got to the point where, like, I was translating emails and I was also giving input, like, on the Japanese guest booths. Like, for example, in 2017, we had the Evangelion exhibition. I'm sure you remember.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
So at that time,
Fire.
I was promoted to the not special projects lead, but I was like second in command. The lead was a guy named Philip, fantastic guy. He's not so much in the organization anymore. His day job really got busy, so now I'm the lead of that department. So I was like Philip's right hand man because he's also an engineer. And like it just went from me just translating emails to me like, okay, well, like, what do we need to make this project happen? We need 15,000 feet of freestanding wall. Okay, so where are we going to order that from? What material are we going to make it out of? We got all these different materials. Like, okay, well, how are we going to mount these priceless pieces of artwork from the original series to this wall? Because, like, okay, well, like, first we're going to get all the loose leaf cells, and then we're going to put them all into, like, frames. Well, like, how do we bulk order frames? Like, so it's just, like,
Wow.
a lot of these problems.
The logistics,
exacerbating
the
themselves.
whole logistics of making that thing come from paper ideas to life, like their actual physical. Wow.
And working with Japan, because Studio Kara, great people to work with, but they're very specific.
Sure.
And it's their IP, so we want to make sure that they're happy. So everything down to like the color of the carpet, the color of the walls, the color of the frames, the material the frames are made out of, the material the walls are made out of. Like they had an input on that, and we wanted to make sure that they were happy. It's like, okay, well, like I've got I've put out a bid to order on like these 3 companies. I'm waiting for them to get back to me on pricing, and then we'll levy everything out because all of this was going to be paid for with sales from the exhibition, and then whatever we made on sales from the exhibition and whatever's extra, we'll keep as profit. So yeah, that's kind of like what I do now. Even is just like with the Toho exhibition last year we had
with
we had
Godzilla.
Toho. Yeah. I worked with Toho to help bring that booth to life, and it's funny how we got into that. So in 2018, 18, we were at TIM, which is the Tokyo International Music Market. John and Denise had flown me and a couple other high-level staff out to Japan so we can man a booth at TIM, which is like a big music market for Japanese bands and record labels. So we had our booth, and like these bands would come and like give us CDs and like invite us to like private shows so we could like book them for talent. And we were thinking like, oh man, like we're in Japan for like 2 weeks, we really need to take advantage of this. And wouldn't it be nice to like get a contact to Toho and have them come to Anime Matsuri? Because at the time, Toho had just like My Hero Academia just started getting big, and that was a Toho property. Man, we really need to get in on this, like from the Japanese side, because AM likes to do everything from the Japanese side. We don't like to work with American licensors like Funimation and Sentai. It's not that we don't love them, but if we can work directly with Japan, it's just
y'all trying to get that like kind of next level, that kind of that specialness of getting something straight from Japan, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Because if we get it from Funimation, love Funimation to death.
Sure.
But we just don't work with them because we want our own license. We don't. That's another in the engineering world, we call that a failure point. That's something. That's a place where things could go wrong. You know what I mean? And if we can eliminate as many failure points as possible,
or middlemen or like third parties, right? If you work directly with them, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So if we're working with Funimation, then it's like, okay, well, we're gonna tell Funimation our idea. Funimation's gonna tell Toho their idea. Toho's gonna get back to Funimation. Funimation's gonna get back to us. It's a logistical.
You're just like sitting there jerking off, and there's nothing getting done.
Yeah, exactly. And you get cum all over your hands, cum in their hands.
It's worse. It's horrible.
It's a big
Who
mess.
cleans it up? Like, who's gonna clean it up?
So we're in Tokyo at TIM. We're like, man, wouldn't it be nice to get a contact with Toho? So we're like, do you have contact with Toho? No. Do you have contact with Toho? And you can't just walk in the front door and introduce yourself. Like, hi, my name is Jacob. I work with Anime Matsuri, and I want you to come to our event, Toho. You can't just do that.
I mean, I think that'd work if you did that.
At least we thought you couldn't just do that. So literally, I'm gonna tell you how we got the Toho booth, which I don't think I've ever told this story like in public. But we were at TIM, and John pulled me aside. He's like, hey, like, I need you to like ask artists in like other booths, like approach booths, and see if anybody has any contacts with Toho that maybe we can like trade information or like get a good contact. And at the end of the day, I was like, everyone's like, oh no, I wish, but no, that's not a thing. Because Toho may as well be like the fucking
Illuminati or fucking. Oh, okay.
So John was like, you know what? you speak Japanese? Fuck it, let's just call him. I was like, do you want me to just call like Google phone number for Toho and call that number and ask if they want to come? He's like, that's exactly what I want you to do. So that's exactly what we did. I literally Googled phone number for Toho and I put it in my phone and I got a phone number and we called and we got a receptionist. Bless her heart. The lowest level person that exists within the corporation that is
Sure,
Toho.
right.
So I call her up and I'm like, hi, my name is, and remember, it's probably her job to deflect people like me.
Yeah.
She probably gets like 500 calls a day. Like,
Please hire me, please hire me.
Yeah, who doesn't want to do business with Toho? So I told her, I introduced myself and everything. I was like, hi, my name is Jacob. I represent an American company called Anime Matsuri, and we really want Toho to have a presence at our event. If you could please put me into contact with somebody who can make that happen, like somebody with marketing or, and she was like, well, like what would they do? Because you want to do screenings or anything like that. Because if you want to do screenings, all of the watch it rights belong to Funimation, so you have to work with them. It's like, we don't want to work with Funimation. We want to do anything that gives Toho a presence at our event. So, okay, well, I'm going to put you into contact with someone. We'll see what happens. We'll call you back is what they gave us. I hung up the phone. I told John, I was like, they said they'll call us back. And we're like, fuck, that means they're not going to call us back. That's what they tell people, right? They just say, we're going to call you back.
I hear that all the time from people. Well, before I got my girlfriend.
They said, we're going to call you back. We're like, well, shit. Like, no, that's probably not going to happen. Like, less than an hour later, we got a call back from, like, I think it was, like, the head of the projects division from Toho. It's like, all right, you said America without Funimation. I'm curious what you want to do.
Oh.
What do you want to do? I was like, I just want screenings. Yeah, screenings. That's what I meant to say, Sabella Arts. Sorry. I'm curious what you want to do. I was like, okay, Toho. I'm thinking, what's big at Toho? Godzilla. What do they have in? Because we had just walked around Shinjuku and we were like, oh shit, there's like a Godzilla store. I was like, merchandise licensing. Funimation doesn't have the rights to that. Funimation has the rights probably to screenings and stuff like that. So we're like, hey, we want to bring the Godzilla store to America. And they're like, well, do you just want to like buy some stuff and drop ship it and resell it? Because we can do that for you. I was like, no. I want the store that you have in Japan, and I want wall for wall, shelf for shelf, item for item, that experience in Houston, Texas.
Wow.
And they're like, can you do that? I'm like, if you say yes, I promise you, we will try our damnedest.
It's the Patrick. We take it here and we put it over there.
Exactly. So they're like, yeah, well, if you think you can make it work, I'm gonna put you into contact with a company called Toho Stella, which is their marketing division.
Sure.
So you have Toho Company that handles all the film and everything like that, and then you have Toho Stella, which handles like the store and the merchandise and the toys and all that shit.
Gotcha.
So they put us into contact with Toho Stella, and they put us in contact with a gentleman. I'm not gonna say his name because I don't want to dox.
Sure.
But he's known. I was like, oh shit, like so I
it's
got
Mickey
to talking
Mouse.
to him, and he was like, so I was like, okay, what are we gonna do? How do we sell this? So we pulled up AutoCAD and was like, okay, let's like sketch out what we want everything to look like. Renders really purvey an idea a lot better than just talking about an idea. So we put together some like renders, and John got some of his friends to like make like really cool official looking stuff of like Godzilla smashing through the George R. Brown Convention Center. Like really legit looking renders.
Yeah.
But okay, here's our presentation. He was like, I love it. I absolutely love it. Let's do it. What do you want? And we're like, okay, we want. He gave us like a list of products. And he's like, we want this item, this item, this item, and this item. He was like, you know what? And they started adding. They got excited. They're like, what would be great? This item is never released in America. Let's bring a bunch of these and let's like promote it.
Oh my god.
Or this item is like never been seen outside of like this prefecture Japan. We have a bunch of them in storage we've been trying to get rid of. We said we would never release them again in Japan. We didn't say anything about America. So let's like go ahead and drop ship some of this, which brought like. I don't know if you know about Godzilla fans, but they love exclusivity.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
If they can get their hands on some shit that you can't get in America, and they can show other Godzilla people, like, look what I got.
Eat my ass, loser.
Exactly. So like we got like the walls built, and like we picked out the color and like the cases, and we got a list together. And then the guy that I was talking to, he was like, you know what we should do? And we were like, what? How would you like some original props from the 1950s films to be at the store like an exhibition? I was like, holy fucking shit. Yes. How can we make it happen?
What?
So we go talk to John. I was like, John, can we do this? Can we do this? He was like, you have the budget. So we're like, fuck yeah. So John flew to Japan. I didn't come with him this time. I was tied up in my day job. They flew to Japan. They went to Toho Studios and they walked through Toho Studios because they have a big warehouse where they keep all these old props.
Oh yeah.
Like, pick what you want. Pay for shipping. We'll box it up and send it to you.
Oh.
So we had like the actual Mecha Godzilla from Kiryu, like, you know, like the actual suit that the man was in walking around and shit like that.
Yeah.
That was at our store. We had like the actual Heisei era Godzilla statue. Like we had like beautiful. They provided us with like high quality original like movie poster quality artwork that we were managed to print on these like gigantic fabric walls that like surrounded all these things. We made a really cool exhibition. And they put us in contact with Legendary Pictures because at the time, Godzilla King of the Monsters was getting ready to come out. It was
Right, the movie. Yeah.
Yep. So they put us into contact with Legendary. Put us into contacts with Richard Dorton, T.J. Storm, Alan Maxon, a bunch of the motion capture artists for Godzilla and King Ghidorah. And so we're like, yeah, we're gonna invite you as guests. We're gonna like put you up in a swanky hotel room. You're just gonna fucking love it. We're gonna introduce you guys to the guys from Toho because they had never met the Toho guys. They had met the guys from Legendary because Legendary adapted the film from Toho. So yeah, those are some of the projects for AM that I've done.
That's
kind of like
crazy.
a scope of work that I do.
So you're just like the resident badass.
No. Like I play a part in some of it. I don't do all of it, but I play a part in some of it. A lot of this touches a lot of hands. I'm just CC'd in the emails and responses.
You're CC'd and then you're right back to responses in Japanese. That's crazy. Would you say that working on would you say that that's like your favorite moment, one of the most memorable moments you have of working for Anime Matsuri, going to the convention? Or do you have any? What do you have any? Well, do you have any?
My absolute favorite Japanese memory, and Baller Squad, if you're watching, you've seen the picture. I posted it in our Discord. I don't think I can share it here because this is gonna be like published on YouTube. And I met Kamimura. He's the art director for Neon Genesis Evangelion. He's the art director for Fooly Cooly. He's done some stuff on Dragon Ball and everything like that. They flew to the United States, and since I speak Japanese, I was their translator. So I was their translator. I got to follow them everywhere they went. So we went to like NASA, and they wanted to try like barbecue and everything like that. And we went to this restaurant. I don't know if you're familiar with it. It's called Taste of Texas. It's a steakhouse here in Texas. It's a very highly rated, very hard to get into steak restaurant here in Texas. And while we were there, they really wanted to get into the Texas like groove. You know what I mean? So the staff brings out these cowboy hats and these bandanas, and Kamimura was all for it. He's like, fuck yeah, I'm in Texas. I'm going to wear a 10-gallon hat and boots with spurs. And fucking... So I have a picture with me like giving this big goofy grin with the art director for Neon Genesis Evangelion in a cowboy hat. It is just one of my most treasured possessions.
Oh my god, that's amazing. That's so crazy. You don't get those type of experiences not working for Anime Matsuri, dude. That's crazy. That's so awesome. That's so funny, dude. When I was in fucking Japan, I would tell people, like, they would ask, like, why the fuck is some white-looking person in Japan in, like, February? Like, what the fuck is going on? And when I would tell them I'm from Texas, they're like, oh, Texas. And I would tell them Houston. They're
NASA.
like, yeah, no, I tell them Houston. They're like, oh, Houston, NASA. Oh, and they, like, freak out every time. And I'm like, yeah, NASA.
The Japanese people, they know Los Angeles. They know New York and they know Houston. They know nothing in between. In my experience.
I mean, come on. What after the South? What do you need? Come on.
Yeah.
No, that's amazing. That's so awesome. That's such a crazy memory. That's so awesome.
Probably my favorite. If I had to peg a favorite, that's probably my favorite.
And AM shows no signs of slowing down. I know when I was working there, the sentiment from, Denise and John was that every year they're like, we have to top ourselves last year, right? And it's awesome because the George R. Brown, for y'all that don't know, is the convention center. It's gigantonormous. Like, it is humongous.
1.8 million square feet.
That's a lot of football fields.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Stories, 1.8 million square feet, and we use all of it.
Yeah.
We use it all.
And
We
there's so
book out
much
the
space.
entire venue.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane. And then the fact that y'all just keep trying to fill it with more stuff, and you're like, fuck it, Thursday, let's do stuff. It's gonna turn into like we're gonna make it a whole week or some nonsense. Like who knows, right?
Yeah. Last year on Thursday we had A-Pink, was they're a K-pop group. Fuck it, we're gonna put K-pop, one of the most popular things in the world, on a Thursday.
Day
Which is not
zero,
even part of
bitches.
the event. Yeah.
God.
We did that to bring people in and get them comfortable before the actual event.
And make sure they get
What's
their badges and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Day zero, A-Pink. Lovely girls to work with, but very nice. I don't speak Korean. I didn't get to work with them too much.
Okay.
But since I'm the resident engineer, I help with some of the
You just gotta
stations
say
and stuff like
saranghae, and then that's it.
that. Annyeonghaseyo.
There you go. That's all I say. Yeah. Onion say yo. Yeah.
Something nida.
So to wrap up the Anime Matsuri stuff, I would just love to hear what you think the outlook is looking like. So obviously this year we're kind of like the 1 year anniversary of coronavirus, and conventions got hit, super hard with it. Businesses and everything, but especially live events, right? Speaking, I know from like the esports perspective, more or less, like, no live events or anything, no tournaments, nothing, in person at least. So I would love to hear your outlook on the whole of how you think or what you hope might be happening this year, or at least going forward with the corona, with conventions and stuff.
So, as I'm sure you know, Anime Expo has been canceled. A-Kon in Dallas, which is another really big tech con.
Oh, yeah.
I believe they've either been canceled or they postponed, one or the other. Comic Palooza, which is another really big Houston convention, they moved to the weekend after. Really, Anime Matsuri is the first post-COVID big convention in Houston that I can think of off the top of my head.
Sure. Maybe a knitting convention came through or something.
Yeah, something like that. But as far as I can tell, what I'm allowed to talk about,
sure,
we do have guests. We do have guests and big things lined up, like big plans. We never stopped planning. We did like Zoom meetings throughout the year because we were like, okay, well, like our event isn't until July. You know what I mean? Our event isn't until July, so we're gonna keep on going and chugging along, because in the event that this does clear up, and it's looking like it will, before July, we want to be prepared. We don't want to okay, all the events, all the restrictions are lifted and you can have events now, and we're like, oh, fuck, like, what do we
didn't take it seriously. Yeah, that's kind of the vibe I always got. I mean, for people who might not be in the know, and, this is something new for me, having worked it at least 1 year, was that like the planning is year round. Like the convention, it's so crazy that for that weekend or 4 or 5 days of the convention, there's like hundreds and hundreds of days of planning that goes into that, right?
Even like right now, we're already planning stuff for 2022.
Jesus, we haven't even had this one.
Whenever you have an event at the scale that we have it, because we're the second largest anime convention in the United States.
Yeah.
When you have an event at that scale, 365 days just isn't enough.
Jesus.
It's just not. You know what I mean? It's not enough time. I know the big worry for this year, obviously, is coronavirus, the vaccination rollout. We want people to be vaccinated. We want people to be safe. We want people to wear masks and everything like that.
Yep.
And since I think our Achilles heel this year, if I had to say anything, would be Japan, working with the Japan side of things. As I mentioned before, we often try to work directly with Japanese companies. We don't like working with American licensors because it's a failure point. Something that can go wrong. There can be controversy there. There can be disagreements there, and we don't want that. We want directly with Japan. And why that's our Achilles heel this year is because Japan, with their vaccinations, have not been as efficient as the United States. I think they're just getting around to vaccinating people like this month. Whereas in the United States, we've been vaccinating people since January. So visas are very, very important, and they take time to file. It's bureaucracy, man. It takes time.
Gotcha. Especially now with all the measures, I'm sure it's even more annoying. It's more of a hassle.
So I would say that's our Achilles heel. We're working on it though. It's not like we're not trying. It's not like we're saying,
planning around it.
Yeah. We're definitely going to artists like, hey, first question, if you can come, are you comfortable coming? Because if you're not comfortable, we don't want to waste your time. We don't want to waste our time. We'll try again next year. No hard feelings. You know what I mean? We get it. We get it. And if they say, yes, I'm interested in coming, then, we work with their agents.
You will move heaven and earth.
We plan everything as if they were going to come. We're not saying if you can come, maybe we can. It's like, no, when you come, we're going to do this. And if we can't get your visa in time, sorry. And some companies like, I don't know if I can say.
companies.
There's some companies that some big animation studios that some big vendors that from Japan have been very, very kind and very gracious and been like, look, even if we can't come, we trust you. Build the booth. We'll make virtual appearances in Japan. Just if send us the specs, send us the blueprints. If we approve it, build it. You guys, they trust us, which is, I mean, if you think about the consequences, that could be huge. That's a very big deal because like they're trusting us to represent them at probably the only event that they have a presence at in the year. They're trusting us to represent them. You know what I mean? They're saying, hey, this company who makes this popular IP, we want to have a presence badly enough that we trust you to run things without a representative there.
Jeez.
And that is so very humbling and so very, I mean, that, not to toot my own horn.
Nah, toot that shit. Toot, toot.
I think that speaks a lot to the amount of professionalism that we have whenever we interact with Japanese companies in our international relations department as a whole, because I mean they trust us to represent them at the biggest event that they're going to have in the United States that year, and that's huge, and that means a lot to me. And I will not let them.
You do not take it lightly, right? That responsibility is given to you, so you're gonna like step up to the plate and deliver. Yeah.
Yeah, because not only are they trusting me, I mean the fans too. You know what I mean? Like I want to put on something great for the fans, because like if I let them down, then the fans are gonna be pissed off at me. Like me, they're like, all right, who's in charge of international?
J Taka on fucking Twitter, you fucking idiot.
Who's in charge of international relations and pissed off company A? Let me see.
Damn.
International relations, Anime Matsuri. Oh shit. Here they coming.
I'll be the first to. So in case anyone wanted to know, at J Taka, drop the ball. No, I'm kidding. That's awesome. No,
it's not exclusively me, but I'm sure I'll get the.
Nah. I got your Twitter, so it's you. No, that's good. I mean, it's definitely like one of those things that's interesting. I didn't actually know about, or at least hadn't been keeping up with the Anime Expo stuff, and then the local like cons and them getting pushed back. So I'm like fingers crossed, hopeful that basically I'm fingers crossed hopeful, because it would mean that the vaccinations and everything are going well, which is a net positive for humanity, right? So like I'm hopeful for that. So I'm very much fingers crossed for the AM family, because it's big, and I know that y'all are big on like with all the craziness going on, trying to have some semblance of normalcy, or like trying to do the best you can with the circumstances, right? So like masks, hand sand, and everything, which I'm sure y'all were already planned that out probably like a year back or whatever, right? Actually,
since the George R. Brown is owned by the city, they handle a lot of that. We put up sanitation stations. We have requirements and everything like that, which we're grateful for. That's less work that we have to do.
No, I'm super fingers crossed for y'all. I am. I hope it does go well.
Things will go wrong. Things will go wrong. They always do. At an event this scale, not everything can go perfectly. Panels will be postponed. Guests will be late to things, and not everything goes perfect, but.
Yeah. I'll say one thing. Part of the reason why I actually went to go volunteer for Anime Matsuri that year that I wanted to go volunteer was because I wanted to kind of like give back to the fact that I had been going to so many different conventions and stuff, and I was like, you know what, I want to finally just like volunteer, see what it's like, and help out, right? And I was like dumbfounded by the amount of like the logistics that go into, obviously, Anime Matsuri is giganto, but the logistics that go into everything and all the moving parts. So the one thing I say to people out there, if they ever try to shit on a convention for anything, please volunteer next year and see all of the hard work that goes into running some kind of operation, because that's like eye-opening for me to see everything.
Oh yeah, it's hard work. It really is. So big shout out if there are any of our volunteers watching, buddy, you have my utmost respect and my admiration, because it's hard work. It really is. It's genuinely hard work.
Love it. Awesome. Well, okay. So shifting gears a little. So I don't know if you know this. We're actually streaming this live on Twitch, right? And I've heard that you actually know a thing or two about Twitch, right?
I've dabbled in the Twitch world. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. A little bit. Yeah. Okay. Nice.
Twitch.tv/DickPlanet.
Oh, that's you. I didn't know, because it said DickPlanet. I was like, I'm not about to click a link that says DickPlanet, but that's crazy. So
I wouldn't blame you.
For people not in the know, because I'm sure some people are gonna like cock their head this type of way when they get to the opening of this. DickPlanet is your effort with, I believe. I don't want to get anything wrong, so I'll say that it is the Twitch community movement creative effort that you and some other great people have brought to Twitch within the last, I think y'all had your like anniversary not that long ago, right? Because you had the stream,
There's
the whole
1 year anniversary like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
That.
Awesome. So first thing I have to ask, and I'm sure you get this all the time, the name.
DickPlanet.
DickPlanet.
Yes.
Now, as a you know, I'm a planet kind of guy. You know, I don't know if you. I mean, I fuck with the whole planet thing, but I'd love to hear how that came about, and then just talking about what it is, how it came to be, and everything. So.
So the name. At the time, I was living with a gentleman named Stamper.
Okay.
Some of you in the chat may know who Stamper is. Stamper is a voice actor and a character. He's just he's an internet personality. If I could put a blanket statement on
Sure.
who he is. He did a thing called Sleepy Cabin for a very long time that was very, very popular. He voiced pretty much every single game released by a company called the Behemoth. So if you ever played Battle Block Theater, if you ever play, he's the narrator in that. Played Pit People, he's the narrator in that. He's made cartoons on Stamper TV and on Newgrounds for a very long time. He pretty much coded like 80% of Newgrounds.com. So if you know what Newgrounds is.
Yeah.
He had a big hand in making that. I often joke with him, was like, Stamper, do you know how many children's degeneracy you've
a lot of flash game hentai. Yeah, no, I got you.
Yeah. So that was a lot of that was him and Tom Fulp like years and years and years ago. But Stamper and I were living together at one point. And this was like before COVID. So I guess I should start with that, and then we'll go into like that. So all of this stems from Hentai Fest at Anime Matsuri.
Oh, everything always goes back to Hentai Fest at Anime Matsuri. This is ridiculous.
Goes back to anime titties, baby. That year, I was put in charge of writing Hentai Fest for Anime Matsuri. And I was looking around for like people to help me write the script. And,
you didn't mention that when you were talking about what you did in Anime Matsuri. I'm just gonna pause right there. You didn't mention that. You're like, I do a bunch of things, whatever, engineering, haha, and then no, you're just writing anime titty fan fiction on the side. This is some bullshit.
Yeah. But that was a panel I helped contribute with. So I was like, oh man, I'm gonna need some help writing the script because I'm not much of a writer, you know. I was like, I need a funny guy. Who are some funny guys? And at the time, I was really big into this podcast called Sleepy Cabin. And so I was like, okay, well, like, you know, it's not like I'm nobody. I have a lot of money that I could throw at these people to help me write this because they're really funny guys. So I had noticed on Twitter, because I was following Stamper on Twitter, because that's what you do with people that you like, entertainment that you like, you follow them on Twitter.
Oh,
and
I should follow you.
mentioned that he's like, oh, you know, something about being in Houston. I was like, shit, there's my guy right there. Like, I admire his comedy. He lives in Houston. I live in Houston. I'm gonna reach out and say, hey, I'm gonna pay you a bunch of money to help me write this show. So that's what happened. I reached out to him on Twitter. I was like, hey, my name is Jacob. I work with like Anime Matsuri, and like, I'd really like you to help me write this like 18+ comedy show called Hentai Fest. And he was like, yeah, absolutely, I'll do it. He's like, money, work, fuck yeah, I'll do it.
Titties, let's go.
Yeah, so I hit him up on Twitter. We went out to eat, and like I made my presentation and everything. And he and I just got along famously.
Awesome.
We talked about AM for maybe like 30 minutes, and then we just bullshitted and laughed at each other's jokes for like the next like 3.5 hours. So the meeting went very well.
Productive.
I work in personal relations. It's my job.
That's how I fell for you. I knew it.
I knew it. So yeah, we had a great time. And he agreed to do the show and everything like that. I was like, cool. So here's the address for Anime Matsuri headquarters. Set up a meeting. I'll block out some time in the boardroom for us to use so we can get to writing this show. And like 2 or 3 days later, he hit me up. He's like, hey man, basically, like, I don't have any friends in Houston, and you're the first person that I've met that I like. You just want to fucking hang out? And like for me, like this is a guy whose comedy I've been consuming for a couple years now. So
wow.
Yeah,
okay.
Dude. Yeah, let's just hang out. So we went out to a couple arcades and we just hung out and everything like that. And it got to the point where we were hanging out pretty regularly, writing the show. We meet up like once or twice a month, just writing a show and everything. And it got to the point where he was like, you know, like I don't know why I'm living where I'm living, whenever I could be helping you live where you live. Like, why are we paying 2 rents when we could be paying 1 rent? You know,
yeah.
that
Okay.
kind of deal.
Yeah, like you're cool. I'm cool. 2 dudes. Let's just move in.
Yeah. So we started living together. And we lived together for a little while, and then like not too long after we started living together, COVID hit like a rock. So we couldn't go out and do fun stuff anymore, which sucked.
Gotcha.
So it had been a while since Stamper had put out any content. He'd become kind of stagnant in what he put out, admittedly, even by his own standards.
Yeah.
So we were like, man, I was thinking like, man, what can I do to really help him like get back out there? Because like so many people are hungry for his content. Like he would excel at pretty much anything he does. So I hit him up. I was like, hey Stamper, I'm gonna make a Twitch channel. Do you want to do Twitch with me? He's like, yeah, but only if it's got a baller ass name. That's
no.
So I was like, okay, cool. So what are we doing? He's like, cuddle pile. No, that's lame. Game over. No, that's fucking stupid. Extra life. No, that's fucking dumb. And he's like, pussy sprinkled. No, that's stupid. That's gonna get us banned. DickPlanet. That's it. DickPlanet. That's what it's called. We typed it in DickPlanet.com. Not taken. We typed in DickPlanet on Twitter. Not taken. We typed in DickPlanet on Twitch. Not taken. SEO was completely open. Fuck it. That's what we're gonna call it.
Full send.
Yeah, full send. So we announced on all of our socials. Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, we're gonna be bullshitting, talking about cum farts and playing video games.
Couch co-op, baby.
TV/DickPlanet. Me and Stamper did that together as a duo for about 6 months, 5 months, something like that. And Stamper already had a pretty big name for himself. He had already had a very well-established fan base. So that helped drive in a lot of the initial traffic.
Gotcha.
So that took us from like 0 followers to 5,000 followers in the span of like 2.5 months.
Love it. Yeah.
Which is on Twitch. I mean, you're a Twitch guy. It's unheard of.
It's phenomenal.
We went from having never streamed ever to being a partnered streamer in like a span of less than a year.
That's literally record timing. Like I've spoken to like the last show I had was someone who had done Twitch for a long time, and it's like that's record timing. Like people stream for like 4 or 5 years or so before getting there. So it's amazing.
That doesn't happen, and I'm very, very aware that I owe a lot of that to Stamper and his audience. So if anybody is watching from Stamper's audience, I appreciate you. Thank you for sticking around. And thank you for sticking around after he left. So my wife was living in Japan at the time.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna ask. I was like, how are you having this like guy fest? Like, what's
just kind of living with you. No, my wife was living in Japan at the time. And because of COVID, her visa kept getting delayed.
Wow, that sucks.
So we were unable to get her green card for the longest time.
Wow.
So about the time when all that started clearing up and USCIS, which is basically immigration, said, hey, like your wife's green card is ready. I told Stamper, I was like, hey, buddy, love you to death, but I'm gonna be fucking on that couch in like a week. So,
I need a couch, bro.
you're gonna have to like go sleep on somebody else's couch or figure something out. Which I gave him plenty of heads up.
Yeah.
So he ended up moving up to Wyoming.
Oh wow.
And
he's like a nomad.
Yeah. But that kind of left like a void in the channel.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because a lot of people were there for Stamper. I'm not nearly as interesting. But a lot of people did stick around, and a lot of people stayed. But that left a void for like personalities on the channel, because where Stamper was living, like it really wasn't an option. Like he'd come in from time to time when he could, but as I'm sure you can imagine, internet in Wyoming is not fucking stellar. It's not stellar.
They have internet there? I thought they just run a cable from another state and they're just like, all right, hook it up.
It's not stellar. So he stuck with us for as long as he could manage without losing all of his hair or what's left of it.
Damn.
But there was this girl named Ellie who had really been helping us out behind the scenes with a lot of shit. She made us a Discord server. She made us a YouTube channel. She hired editors to come and edit our VODs and put them onto YouTube. Like, we were doing none of this. Like, all I did was hit stream. Like, and this was just a way for me to, like, give my friend a creative outlet while we were COVID. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it turned into such big success. And you can ask the Baller Squad. That's what I call my audience, the Baller Squad. After Stamper left, I posted in our Discord. In our Discord, I was like, hey guys, like, Stamper's leaving the channel. Should I continue this, or do you want me to, like, stop? Because I know, like, I hate it when they make sequels to movies that don't need sequels, right? And the consensus overwhelming was like, no, keep going. Like, you're fucking partnered. Like, why would you throw that away? So my community was very supportive, and I'm very grateful for that. Anyways, back to Ellie. She did all of these things for us, and I was like, you know what? fuck it, let's have her be my co-host because she's put in a fuck ton of work and she deserves it, honestly.
Yeah, for sure.
So I was like, hey, I'm gonna give you, like, Stamper was making this much % of our revenue. I'm just gonna give that to you. You know, and then we brought on Cole, who is our other co-host, and we brought him on just because I like him. No particular reason.
Those are the
fact that
strategic decisions I'm here for.
Yeah. I like the shit out of Cole. He is very, very funny, man. He can yes and with the best of them. Because, like, silence kills streams, as I'm sure you know.
For sure,
Like, you have
for
to
sure.
always you got to be talking. You always have to be engaging. And Cole, I don't know, he has like a sixth sense for like when that's coming, and he can like shift a subject like on a dime or like pull out like the funniest fucking shit you've ever heard on a dime. He's
Amazing.
great. And he joined us as a guest on a couple of streams, and I was like, fuck that, like I need that talent. Like, so I'm gonna pay you a percentage. Like, I'm gonna reduce my percentage. I'm gonna give you a percentage. So if I can pay you to stick around, like, please, like, cause I need you. And he graciously accepted. So now that's the cast we're rocking and rolling with these days. We're still going strong.
Love
It's been
it.
a lot of fun.
That's amazing. No, I had no idea about the story behind it. I had known that you had started it because I'd see on like Facebook. I would drop in every now and then. You would be nice enough to raid me. But that's awesome hearing the story about it. Like that's so great. And I love I love hearing how you've been able to kind of like grow up the community and then highlight super important members of your community and say, look, you're literally here helping build the foundation for this amazing community. You deserve to be up front and center with this thing. So I really commend that. It's one of the things that like everyone, like running a business like that or running, you know, building this family like that and putting that kind of emphasis on the community just makes it that much better. Like, it just shows that like you're very serious about things that aren't just money. It's like the recognition, the growing it up, and then, you know, making sure everyone gets to enjoy what they've all helped create. So
Oh, yeah.
love it.
I make no mistakes. Without Ellie's help, there would be no community. You know, I'm not fucking smart enough to start a Discord server. I'm too lazy to keep up with the YouTube channel.
Yeah, I
If
mean,
it wasn't
come on.
for her,
If it's not an
yeah,
AutoCAD, I mean, you're basically useless. I mean, I don't get it.
pretty
I'm
much.
kidding. I'm
Yeah,
kidding.
if it wasn't for her, this would just be a stream that comes on every now and then that I have fun and fart around with my friends. So really, I mean, a lot of the community is because of her directly. Like make no qualms about that. And she's constantly knocking it out of the park with guests and shit. She's like, oh hey, like, you know, I'm pals with Harley from Epic Mealtime. I'm gonna get him to come on a stream. So we'll have him up on a stream. We'll just talk.
I was
Hey,
so
like-
I was gonna ask. So like, what is it that y'all stream now? Not to cut you off, but what is it that y'all stream now? Like, if I tune in to Dick Planet next Tuesday, what's a little taste of what I can expect?
I would say most days it's us just shooting the shit with some e-celeb. You know what I mean? Because like my network and Ellie's network and Cole's network, it's gigantic. We have music, we have friends in animation, we have friends in esports, we have friends all over the place. So it's usually us just literally like
Shit
bullshitting.
posting with a
Hey,
guest.
Yeah, like, hey, when you went to Chuck E. Cheese's as a kid and you brought that big ass fucking pile of tickets to the ticket counter, like, what did you have your eyes on? Were you like more of like a parachute army kind of guy, or were you more like a fucking trick gum kind of guy? You know,
Love
like
it.
shit like that. You know, and you'd be surprised how much mileage you can get out of shit like that. Or like, hey, do you believe in ghosts? Tell me about some like paranormal shit that's happened to you in your life. You know, and you can just riff off of shit like that. When you have talented people like Cole and Ellie, you can just riff off of shit like that for an hour and a half.
Forever.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. I love it. It's like shit posting, and then you bring on the special the shitter for the day. You know.
Yeah, it's really amazing. And I thought by now we would have ran out of shit to talk about, but no. And we play games every now and then. We play games, you know. It used to be kind of a meme in the beginning, like, holy shit, we're actually playing a game today. Oh fuck. You know?
When it was like, when I had known about it, it was like a couch co-op type of deal, right? And so now it's like,
yeah.
moving away from that, you're like, oh, games on this channel? Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah. Oh, it's funny because it started out as a gaming thing, but then like Stamper and I would get so like lost in conversation that we would forget we were supposed to be playing a game. So it'd just be Mario standing there like this while we were arguing about like whether or not fucking Optimus Prime would have peanut butter on the top or the bottom of a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Like shit like that, you know what I mean?
What was the consensus?
Dude, it's clearly the top. It's
Okay.
clearly that Stamper
I mean,
disagrees. I mean, we had a
robots in
big thing about
disguise.
Crazy Frog for the longest time.
Oh,
Crazy
Jesus.
Frog was pretty much our mascot for like fucking 2.5 months.
What, did
you
y'all
know
have
that-
some beef with him? Like, what's up?
No, like, did you know? I don't know if how up to date you are in your Crazy Frog.
My
lore.
lore.
Probably not very.
No.
Probably not very. Your Crazy Frog canonically killed himself. Like on his Twitter page, they posted Crazy Frog is dead for Halloween one year. They posted an image of Crazy Frog in a noose for Halloween. They swiftly deleted it.
That's pretty
But
metal.
it was supposed to be like a spooky kind of post, but everyone's like, hey, that's not cool. Like, I know you're not like an
What
American
the
company, but you can't just post Crazy Frog. In
Da, Crazy Frog done
But,
killed
like-
himself. Yes.
But did you know Crazy Frog, in some of his music videos, he has a penis, and in other music videos, he doesn't have a
I
penis.
think
and we
I
were like,
have seen
dude, this
it, yeah.
big conspiracy of like, why did they castrate
Where is
him?
a frog's penis?
Ananopolis 1 says, are you already bringing out the Crazy Frog lore? See, he knows. My guys know.
All right. So before we get too off in the deep end, we'll save that for the next. We'll save the Crazy Frog lore for a YouTube video. We'll do like a 1 hour documentary and we'll pitch it to Netflix.
Yeah, absolutely.
So talk to me a little bit about what the experience has been like for you on Twitch, right? So like, what is it that you enjoy? What is it that brings you fun? Why do you keep tuning in, streaming all the time?
My audience. My audience is I mean, I couldn't ask for a cooler fucking group of people. And I feel really fucking blessed that I have the audience that I do. Because like you have so many audiences who are like, you shouldn't say that, that's problematic, or you know, oh, I expected better from you, or anything like that. And maybe it's by virtue of my name, DickPlanet, acting as a filter, but like guys like JD or Sabella or Nino or fucking Mediocre Chef, really just Kyle, like I know these, I recognize these screen names like they're my friends, because they are.
Because they are.
You know what I mean? They are my friends. Like I didn't know them prior to this, but now like I've made friends with like so many awesome people. And like not only in that respect, but like I've gotten DMs before, like from like people like, oh hey, like I'm a trucker and like I drive across America, and like Tuesday, Thursdays, and Saturday nights are like the best nights because I get to tune in and hang out with you guys, and like that means a lot to me. 'Cause,
That's so
like,
awesome.
And then I feel bad. I feel fucking bad because like you can ask my chat, I will go to extreme lengths to keep from canceling a show. I packed up my entire streaming rig and brought it with me on a trip and set it up in like a friend's house and be like, I'm streaming. I'm leaving my friend's wedding for an hour and a half. And I'm
Yeah.
gonna stream.
Wow.
Because, god damn it, if people make it a point to show up to watch my show Tuesday, Thursdays, and Saturdays at 8 p.m. If they
At
block
DickPlanet.com.
if they block out their time to be there for me, then the least I can do is be there for them.
That's
If
yeah.
Yeah, that's half of the relationship. If they're gonna tune in at 8 o'clock and they're gonna clear their time to watch my shit, then I better fucking be there. That's my mindset. You know what I mean?
I love it. You're showing up, and that's part. I mean, that's one of the things is like you could say, you know, that someone, you know, Stamper's fan base was a big contributing factor, but that doesn't mean that you didn't show up to work, to do the work, and have that consistency. Because I know a lot of people, you know, I myself am not one of those people that's like, okay, you know, I'm gonna stream at like 8 p.m. and then like 8 p.m. I'm live. Like that's like something in your brain that you say, this is something I do now. I do not miss this. This is my schedule. Like if you had something, it's like, oh, I am streaming at this time. And that's a big switch that shows how important and how it's very important to you. That's like, this is something there's no, you know, it's happening.
It's definitely important to me. Like this Saturday, for example. I don't know if you're aware, but Kino Kuniya and Katie, Anime Matsuri is doing a big party over there.
I do know. Yep.
Big party. So like me, I'm gonna be over there helping like set up this giant LED wall, and be helping set up like all these booths and panels. It'd be helping load and unload shit.
Love it.
I let my boss know. I was like, hey, come 6 o'clock, like I gotta dip out. I got this thing I need to do. I'll stream. I'll come back after an hour and a half, like
Up, tear down.
9 p.m. If you guys are still here, like packing shit into trucks and unloading shit into the warehouse, like I'll come back and help you guys with that. Like I'm not trying to get out of work, but like this is important to me. And luckily, like, oh my gosh, they're like the best people ever to work for, because they completely understand. It's like, oh dude, you do you. Like you do what you're passionate about, you know. And Anime Matsuri has allowed me to use their platform to stream on. Like I've streamed DickPlanet Live on the Anime Matsuri official pages.
Oh, that's
You know what I
awesome. Yeah, that's awesome.
Because like oh hey, like I'm friends with like for example Mick. He's the voice of Abichio in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Oh, that's badass. I love JoJo's. Yeah.
Yeah, he comes on the show every now and then. He's a really nice guy. He's kind of a regular on the show.
Love it.
So I let John and Denise know. I was like, hey, like, I can't make it this Saturday. I'm streaming with this guy from JoJo, and they're like, well, he's an anime voice actor. We're an anime convention. Come into the office and stream on our channel. I was like, you're just letting me use your audience like that? They're like, fuck yeah, it's anime related. Why not?
That's awesome.
So,
that's really awesome because it's like just like anime. It's like, why not? But that's cool because I was trying to make the connections. Like, really, they let you just use it, but that's really cool because of that connect and just knowing that they're understanding. Because you're like, I'm really passionate about this, and they're like, we get it, you know?
Yeah, I mean, and it was funny because we were just having this conversation. I just got cast in a show with a bunch of anime voice actors,
which we're gonna talk about. Don't you worry, chat.
And we were talking at our last meeting. I mentioned to John because like they don't know, they know I stream, but they don't know like I do voice acting and everything because I don't want to bother them with that. They've got enough shit to worry about. But I had mentioned to John, I was like, oh hey, by the way, like I'm gonna be working with all these like anime voice actors. You want me to like invite them to the convention or anything like that? Like I have pretty good access. He was like, well, what do you mean? It's like, well, I'm voice acting on this thing with them. And he's like, you're a voice actor? Yeah, he's like, well, fuck, we could get you a booth. Fuck. Like, I'm like, well, because you're giving me all this personal time, and I told him like, buddy, like you're giving me all this time to work on personal projects, despite me like working with you on Anime Matsuri, and like because of that, I'm able to like, because I'm grateful, I want to like share some of the fruits.
Right. You wanna show how grateful you are with what you have, and you're like, look, y'all have let me do all this stuff. I might as well, I want to pay it for, pay back, pay for it, pay back, whatever. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's awesome. No, that's great. One thing I remember you had mentioned about Twitch that you liked as well is like the interactivity, just like being able to shoot the shit with people and kind of like, hey, like, because it is a very different experience. Live streaming and like YouTube, for example, right? There's that level of interactivity. So I'd love to hear what you think about that.
Oh man, like I had recently posted on Twitter just prior to this we were talking, and I had recently posted on Twitter about my day job. I hate that it takes up 8 hours of my day every day. By far the most productive hours. 9 o'clock, 5 o'clock. Those are your most productive hours. Or they're supposed to be. I know everyone's wired different, but yeah, and we were talking about like what I would like to do on Twitch, and one thing I'd mentioned to you was like I really want to utilize channel points, or we call them dragon fruits, more. I really want to utilize them more, and one system I found recently is called Better Points. I'm gonna get into like streamer lingo here, chat. So if you get lost.
Ew.
Yeah, I know, right? If they just want to watch, they don't know how it works. Basically in Slobs or Streamlabs OBS, you have like scenes basically, and those are like basically like little things that you set up and add layers to kind of build a virtual set for you to act on, right? If I can put it into like the simplest term. Better Points allows you to trigger the changing of scenes via channel point usage. I could have a scene, for example, with like a fist that just flies in and punches me in the face, like a gif of that. Or like sound effects and everything. Like you can trigger different sound effects, you can trigger different like animations using channel points. And if I had more time, I'd be able to make like really cool little gifs of like maybe like Crazy Frog coming in and pissing in my mouth or some shit that would like people would be able to use those. Because right now, the only thing I've got is like a MatPat impression one, which is kind of overplayed at this point because it's been like,
it's the only one everyone just
MatPat impression.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's the only one that's there, so it's the only one everyone uses. So I really want to add value, and if I had more time to work on it, I would make like a bunch of fucking GIFs and a bunch of interactive things because that's something that Twitch offers to me that I'm just not utilizing. That like what you I guess the crux of your question. Sorry, I went off on a tangent.
No, that's what I'm here for.
Why do you prefer Twitch? Because of channel points. Them to trigger and interact with so many different people. Like I was watching Lou the other day, Lunatic Live. By the way, if you don't subscribe to Lunatic Live, check him out. He's
Twitch.tv/
co-host of he's a co-host on the Djibouti Show. It's a very popular show on Twitch. Probably one of the most watched channels on Twitch. But I was watching Louis the other day, Lunatic Live. He's a co-host on that. He streams on his own channel. Recently partnered, by the way. Congratulations, buddy. And he was doing this wrestling thing. And Twitch, he had this like Twitch plugin. Was like, okay. He basically had two wrestlers fighting on auto fight with this WWE thing, and like he would just kind of commentate over, okay, it's Barney versus the angry video game nerd or some shit, and they would be wrestling, right? And he would commentate over it. And one thing that I found really fucking cool that he was doing was he had this thing where like you could bet channel points on either person.
Yeah, gotcha.
You know what I mean? So it made a poll, and you would bet and you would add to the poll using channel points. And if you were one, you could double, triple, quadruple your channel points.
Yep.
I was like, that's so fucking cool. Like, I want to use my points like that. You know what I mean? I want like, because Twitch is giving me all the tools. I just got to use them. That's why I prefer Twitch, because they have all kinds of cool shit like that.
Gotcha. So what I'm hearing is a big part of it is because your viewers, in a sense, can become part of like the stream experience, right?
Exactly. That exactly. I wish I could have put it in like the 10 words.
It's what I'm here for. It's what I do. No, but I get you, and that is a super huge draw, right? Like for a lot of the people that I know that are really passionate about Twitch, they're like, that's it for me. I had a friend who switched over from Facebook to Twitch streaming, and he said that once it finally like started kind of picking up, that interactiveness, like actually talking to people or having things to say or the emotes and like that really like hooked him, and he was like, fuck, this is awesome. Like he was drinking that purple Kool-Aid, man. He got it.
To drinking that purple Kool-Aid. I'm so pissed off, Marz. You could tell my chat. My chat was like, "Why are you applying? Like, why don't you apply for partnership?" And I was like, "Look, the only reason I would ever apply for partnership is so I could go to TwitchCon and get into that schwanky ass after party.
There you go.
That's the only reason I'm applying for partnership, so I could go up and like just fucking boop Markiplier on the nose and be like, I'm on the same level as you at something, bitch." But the very first year we get fucking partnership, COVID cancels TwitchCon. I'm like, son of a fucking bitch. I can't go to the schwanky maker.
F's in the chat.
F's
in the chat. R.I.P. in peace. That sucks.
This year I will go to TwitchCon, and if the chat, if you're there, buddy, come. I'll come give you a fucking big old smooch on the tip of your dick.
There you go. See, in the bathroom. Yeah, meet J Taka of DickPlanet in the bathroom, 8 p.m.
It's called the Baller Squad Appreciation Hour.
Fucking amazing. No, I love it, and I mean, yeah, I think that's one of the things. It's like there's always something to do to improve whatever little content, creative, anything that you're like doing. Like, and if you had the time, like you had mentioned, like you briefly alluded to with your job, you could sit down and do that. So I mean, I feel you on that. I feel you on that. But speaking of other like creative stuff and stuff that you do, I want to move into talking about now your like music and voice acting, right? So music, I had kind of known about this, but not really. But now kind of with some of the stuff you've been posting on Twitter, which, you know, follow him on Twitter, twitter.com/ I think it's xj_taka. Talk to me about your music, right? Because I like kind of know about it, but I kind of don't. And that's kind of why I have you here. So tell me about it, please.
No worries. So I've been playing music. Well, first off, I've always had a knack for matching tone. You know what I mean? Like if someone's like, go like this, I'd be like, okay, like I could just fucking match shit, no problem.
Gotcha.
I don't know if that's not perfect pitch, but it's something. Perfect pitch is whenever like you hear a car crash and like, oh, that was like in F sharp.
Holy fuck! Yeah, you play like 5 keys at a time. You're like, that's this, and this.
I don't have that, but I can match a tone like a motherfucker. I don't know. It's something I've always been really good at.
Okay.
And I know some people who like can't do that for shit. So it's like, okay, maybe it's like a fucking something I was raised with.
Yeah, I can barely sing in the shower, so I got you.
Yeah, maybe like when my uncle kissed me, something like traumatized me, and like now my life has changed forever. I got weird superpowers. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Could do it.
But so I was very good at that. So at a very young age, I've always been interested in music because I've kind of had that ability. I was able to like sing along with things and be in tune and be in key. And my parents were like, "Oh wow, he's pretty good at that." So at a pretty early age, they got me a guitar. My first guitar. It was a PV. And it was a piece of shit guitar, as every guitarist's first guitar ever is, because your parents don't want to invest a lot of money in something that you might do for 2 weeks and then quit. I don't blame them.
Okay, here you go again.
But God damn it, I stuck with it, and we created a little garage band called Auras and Allies, which I'm still in today, by the way. That's one of the few music projects I'm in
Love
like
it.
4 or 5 now. And I've been playing with these guys for ages and ages and ages. It's called Auras and Allies, and that group, admittedly, never really took off. Even to this day, it's really not that big. It's really more just me hanging out with my childhood friends, making music and playing.
Jam sesh.
We just released an album like a few months ago called The Deer Hunting. It's a cover album of a band called The Deer Hunter.
Nice.
It's like a reimagining of some of their songs in more of a theatrical kind of thing. That's what I love about Auras and Allies. They have like lots of we have like lutes and cellos, like all kinds of really creative. Like it's not mainstream at all, which is why it's not popular. But,
which is why you have so much fucking fun with it.
Yes, that's why I love it. If people ask me like which do you love better, Concepts or Auras and Allies, I'd say Auras and Allies 10 times out of 10 because it's the music that I enjoy making.
Love it.
There's another project that I'm in is called Concepts.
Okay.
Concepts has a bit of a history. Concepts at one time was signed to Stasik Recordings. It's a subsidiary of Sony Records, basically. They did like Warped Tour. They did like they were big. They were in the hardcore metal scene at the time. This was prior to my coming in. So how I got with Concepts, a buddy of mine, Jeremy broke over. Shout out Jeremy if you ever see this. I was really, really big into film and cinema at the time. I wanted to be like a visual effects artist, and I wanted to make films, which is kind of faded from my interests. But at the time, I was really big into it. And I really admired this indie music video guy named Jeremy Brookover. So I followed him on social media. And at the time, as I mentioned earlier, I was flying back and forth between
Japan and Houston.
And Japan. And Jeremy posted on social media as like, about to get down to Houston. If I need extras for a music video, if you're in Houston on these dates, we'll pay you $25 and we'll give you lunch.
Love it.
Fuck yeah! If I can work.
Oh, Chick-fil-A, let's go.
Yeah. And I modeled like all my camera gear based off of like his gear. Like
wow.
I like went on his blog and he's like, I have this, this, and this. I was like, all right, I want that look. I'm gonna buy exactly that. I'm gonna buy this, this, and this.
Wow.
So I hit Jeremy up and I was like, hey Jeremy, like, look, I was really fucking awkward. You don't know who I am. But if you need like a camera B or some shit for your like really expensive ass camera set, I literally modeled my gear off of what you have. So whatever you have, I also have it. So if you want like a B camera or like an assistant camera, like I would love to be on set. If not, I'll just be an extra. I'd be just as thrilled with that. And he got back to me. He was like, fuck yeah, dude, let's do it. Yeah, I'd absolutely love that. It'd be great to be able to shoot multiple angles at the same time.
Wow.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Because he was like, I was thinking about doing that, but I have like this DSLR, I have this Blackmagic Cinema, but I want like the look to be consistent. I don't want to have to color grade shit. But he was like, since you have all the same shit as me,
it's done deal. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a done deal. So he was like, yeah, just go set up your camera where I tell you to, and we'll call it a day. So I got to working with the guys in Concepts, which was the band that he was shooting for, which at the time they were fucking larger than life. They were fucking touring and shit, which was really cool because I'd listen to their music too. I was more there for Jeremy, but it was cool that I got to be there and meet them and stuff like that. And me being the PR personality that I am, I got in really, really good and really friendly with those guys. You know what I mean? So we just like pal around and shit, and like even after the shoot, I'd fly into Houston and I'd hit them up and be like, hey, like, you guys want to let you just go like fucking go to the skate park and hang out? I'm in Houston for a couple days. Like, oh, they're like, fuck yeah, dude, let's do it. So we'd hang out. And then there was some stuff that happened that caused the lead singer to leave. He's gone. There was some controversies that popped up, and the lead singer left. And basically Concepts was down to like just one guy, and he was really upset about everything. He was really bummed about what happened. So he was like, I was like, fuck, like, this guy's my friend, like, some shit happened, it's really fucking, he's in a bad place.
Yeah.
I don't, above all, like, I don't want him to, like, and I can't say this on Twitch, but I don't want him to, K to the I to the L to the L himself, you know what I mean? I don't want him to do that, so I was like, fuck it, like, hey, if you need a singer, I'm here for it. If you want people...
Need any help, you can help in any way, yeah.
Yeah, if I can help in any way, like, I sing, I know like nobody gives a shit about Concepts anymore, but like, fuck them, like, you're my friend. If you want to keep making music and being creative,
I'm your guy.
I'll do that with you. And he really appreciated it. And Concepts made a fucking great comeback. They really did. They made a good comeback. So we were like making music videos again,
wow.
really doing shit again, So that's kind of where it is now. Like, it's fizzled out since COVID, and like, I've had other projects, so I haven't been able to like keep up and keep doing that shit with Concepts. So I honestly I've distanced myself from it because I'd be totally open to keep doing it, but like, who has the time anymore? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it seems like you got like 19 different things going on in a single day. If I had, we might even touch onto that. I'll see. But so that gives me an idea of kind of like your music background, right? So you've been in these different bands, you've worked on these different projects, and from like a young age, you've been kind of like musically attuned. You're like a weird like X-Men for like smiles and music, apparently. Which gets us to where we are now, right? So talk to me a little bit about your voice acting endeavor and how that kind of got started, right? Because I'm trying to make the connection in my head of like, music, that's singing, and that uses your voice. Voice, that's like voice acting, and that's where you voice act. So help me connect the dots. Help me connect the dots.
Okay, so for those of you in the chat who don't know, today, just today, this is like brand new news. Like this got announced like a matter of hours ago. I was announced as voicing the character Griff in Dave Capdeville and Ashley Nichols' new show called Farfetched. If you don't know who they are, Dave Capdeville is the writer for the Has Been Hotel pilot. If you don't know what Has Been Hotel is,
I do know that actually. Has Been Hotel. I've heard it. I've definitely heard of it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a fucking internet phenomenon. It took off. Big shout out to everybody who worked on that. They fucking did their due diligence. But Dave was the writer on the pilot of that episode, and Ashley was the cleanup artist for the pilot of that episode, and she also does animation and cleanup for like other shows like Lackadaisy, Ollie and Scoops, and some other like really legitimate things. But they came together and they were writing their own show called Farfetched. So Has Been Hotel. There's an artist named Silvahound, who released a song for Has Been Hotel called Addict. And I had... Okay, let me back up. We'll get back to that. Sorry. So Stamper was in Has Been Hotel. He's a voice actor in Has Been Hotel.
Gotcha.
He voiced Serpentius, which is like a snake evil type character, like evil genius type character.
Love it. Okay.
Because Stamper was in Has Been Hotel, he put me into contact with Dave, who is the writer of the show, to be a guest on DickPlanet. I met Dave through DickPlanet.
Everything comes back to the dick.
Yeah. Everything goes back to the root of the issue and the root of your balls.
Foreskin.
Yeah. So we had Dave on the show, and Dave and I got along famously. We got along very, very well. Very, very well. Like, so we started following each other on Twitter. We'd send each other memes every now and then. Just kind of, look at this whole big monkey, you know, shit like that. Just sort of shit posting back and forth.
Love it.
And since DickPlanet, Dave, of course, you know, I asked him to be on my show. He did due diligence on me, and he found my music projects, like concepts and everything. Dave's a big metal guy. So he was like, holy shit, dude, like, you know, this music is fucking great.
Fucking
like,
badass.
I love what you do. He's like, I fuck with this. This was good. This is good shit. Like, why don't people know who you are? I was like, yeah, I don't really put it out there. Like, I don't even have an Instagram. The only thing I posted on Facebook are, like, highlights. And I shit post on Twitter just because, you know, it's the only place I can feel
you play guitar at 2 a.m., post it on Twitter.
Yeah. So he was like, you know, you didn't really put the shit out there. So Dave was working on Has Been Hotel. So we're gonna get back to Silvahound now. So I know Dave, right? I know Dave. No, I know Dave.
Yep.
I'm the unpinned Silvahound and Addict. So Silvahound released this song called Addict, and the animation staff for Has Been Hotel, the show Dave wrote on, made a whole music video for it. And I was like, holy fuck, this is really cool. Like, wouldn't it be cool to like make a metal cover of this song? So like I just put it out there on Twitter. I was like, I might fuck around and make a metal cover of this song. And Dave, who's familiar with my music and knows what I'm capable of musically, he messaged me. He was like, "Do it, fucker." I was like, "What?" He was like, I was like, I don't know if you're joking around or if that's a shit post, but you should 100% make a metal cover of Addict, and you should do it now before anybody else does, and you should also have me on it. And I was like, fuck, if you're willing to be on it, how cool would it be to have the writer for the show like do guest vocals on the track that you're doing about the show? That'd be fucking amazing.
Yeah.
It's like a fucking match made in heaven.
Yeah.
Like, okay, dude, like if you're on board, fuck yeah. Like I'll call up my boys, call up like Hunter and Brett, like all the guys who make music for concepts, all the music for Rose and Allies, and we'll fucking ground pattern on this. And in less than a week, from conception to completion, we had that track made.
From Twitter DM to completion? Damn.
Yeah, like less than a week. It was because I told my guys, like, look, like this song has already got like 5 million views. Someone's gonna make a metal cover of it, and I want us to be the first ones. And we were. So yeah. So we did that, re-released that, and like within the first month, it got like over 1 million views, which for me, that was the first time anything really fucking blew up. Like got numbers.
Yeah, that's
You know what I mean?
that's fucking amazing. Yeah, that's awesome.
I was like, holy shit, like this is fucking amazing. This is fantastic. And Dave, he's always wanted to get into music, so he was like, hey dude, thank you so much. Like this has been like sort of a dream for me to put out like a metal song. So thank you for, you know, giving me the opportunity. I was like, fuck that, dude. Thank you for like being on the song. You know what I mean? So he got to writing this show called Farfetched. I can't talk too much about it.
Yeah,
because
fair enough.
yeah. But if you read my character's bio, you'll see that he's a singer.
Yeah, Griff, right?
Yeah, Griff, yes. And in the show exists a rock band. So from the show's inception, I found out, which was very flattering to me, that Dave wrote this character with me in mind.
Oh.
Like he basically wrote the character around me. He was like, I'm gonna make Griff be Jacob, essentially.
Wow.
Like, because like he's like, I want to write a song. I want to write a show about like a metal band, and like Jacob's like a metal type guy. I want there to be singing in the show. and he did great on Addict, so I really trust him with this kind of work. So Dave reached out. He's like, hey, like, you know, I'm moving out to California in a couple weeks to start writing the show with Ashley. And like, here's this character. I want you to voice him. And Bud, like, I can show you the DMs. Like, I was cooking at the time. I almost cut my fucking thumb off cutting tomatoes. I was so fucking excited because I was like, holy shit. Because I've done like some voice acting things in the past, but most of the time it was just like, hey, like, you speak Japanese and I have this like shonen character. I need you to make some grunts and say some Japanese things.
Masaka.
Yeah, like shit like that. They're like, hey, like, we're making this dating sim, and like, you know, there's this character who has like 6 lines. Can you like knock these out?
Amazing.
Yeah, sure, I'll do that. So that was like the most voice acting work I've ever done.
Gotcha.
And so you know, Dave and I through conversation, you know, we talked about it. He's like, so you do music? What else? He's like, oh, I've done some voice acting. If you download this app or that app, you can hear me on this and that.
Wow.
He's like, oh, that's cool. And I guess that kind of stuck in the back of his mind. So he wrote this character. I don't want to say for me, but like with me in mind.
Right. Like, yeah, that's amazing. Yeah.
So now, like, Dave with the notoriety that he's got with Farfetched and Ashley with the notoriety that she's got with like Honeycast and all that, this project I have no doubt is going to be very, very successful. And I am eternally grateful. Dave, if you're watching this, Ashley, if you're watching this, thank you so much for trusting me with your baby, and I won't let you down, I promise. And to the fans, look forward to it because what I've seen is going to be a fucking ride.
Yeah. No, that's so cool that how it all like fit in together. Like that was a fucking story. That's so amazing. And then it's just really cool that he was so kind of inspired that he even inspired like an actual like character in this thing, and for you to fit perfectly onto this character and you being able to like, you know, do it through your background, right?
Yeah, and I think a lot of it was because prior to being called Farfetched, the show was called Hell Puppy, which was basically, I'm sure you saw the purple dog in the announcement.
Yeah.
And Rue, the girl. Primarily, originally, the show was just about those two. It's like, what's it like to raise a demon dog? And Ashley reached out to Dave, and she was like, hey, like, you know, like, you wrote Has Been Hotel, like, make this show better, essentially. And Dave was like, all right, well, let me dust off my thing. So she's like, I'm going to fly you out to California. I'm going to put you up in a place to live for a few years while we work on the show. And Dave's like, all right, cool, fuck it. I'm going to write this show. I'm going to make it better. He's like, well, you need more than 2 characters, so let's write all these characters. Well, we need a background, so let's make, like, what's hot right now? And I think, this is my theory, subconsciously in the back of his head, he was still running on fumes from that Addict cover that we just released. So he's like, metal band, we're doing that. So it's funny how, like, shit just kind of fucking, you know...
Yeah, comes together. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like that's so fucking amazing. And hearing you talk about it, it's like that's such a great story. Oh, I love it. So are you still looking for? So I know you're going to be working on that, obviously. But are there any other like how much more serious? So I know you dropped a voice reel, like what 2-3 days ago or so, where it was like you said you'd like done like a super professional voice reel showing you like the different range. Could you talk a little bit about that? Basically, I want to hear like where do you see it going? How serious you're trying to get in? What are you trying to do with it?
If there are any casting directors watching this, the answer is yes. I don't care what the job is.
Nice.
Okay?
I needed an extra in a porno, but I got you. I know.
Dude, you got it. I voice acted in dating sims before, buddy.
There you go. I need you to deliver some pizza.
I'm not at the point in my career where I can just turn down a job.
Love it. Yeah, I got you.
The answer is yes. I want to go as far with this thing as I can. And here's my working theory right now. So I'm in Farfetched. That's great. That's locked down. That's confirmed.
Love it.
Put a key in it. It's done. It's a recurring speaking role that's gonna go on for however long. If I can land a couple more roles with my connections, going back to this puzzle piece thing, my connections in the convention scene, I think I can make a pretty fucking good living doing appearances and, you know, trading favors and say, hey, like, if you get me in here, I'll get you in there. And like,
yeah.
I'm a voice actor, so I'll do this. And,
everyone loves you, so they'd be like, oh, I help out my friend Jacob. I love Jacob. Haha. He kissed the tip of my penis one time.
Schmegma and all, baby. But yeah, with my connections in the convention scene, if I can double up with that and also be a voice actor, I think I can really make that a career for myself. And God, I want to walk away from my day job so much. So right now, that's the plan. Take as many roles as possible, audition for as many things as possible, and make myself more attractive for conventions so I can start getting paid doing voice acting, I can start getting paid doing convention appearances, and I can start putting more time into DickPlanet.
Mm-hmm.
So if I can, because if all I'm doing is submitting voice acting reels, and I'm making all this money, and DickPlanet starts making like fucking $2-3 a month, I can get an office for DickPlanet. I can start doing YouTube content. I can start, paying an editor to come in and like fucking record us all the time. I can pay to fly my co-host to come live with me in Houston, work out of the office. You know what I mean?
Right.
I can't do that right now because I just don't have the time with engineering, and DickPlanet's not at a stage where it's financially. I mean, it makes money, but it
the
doesn't make,
flywheel
like,
where like it makes enough to start being able to put more into it to then start kind of just like the wheels start turning. Yeah.
Exactly. Like, it makes money right now. I'm gonna be as transparent as possible. We make a couple G's. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah.
But it's not at a point where like I can go take out a lease on office space and not have to worry about me pulling from my own pocket and putting into it. You know what I mean? Because I don't know if you know, but I got a kid on the way, and I can't afford to be pulling out of my own pocket to be putting into this.
Right. You're not taking baby food out of little baby Jacob's mouth to like put into DickPlanet. I got you. I got you.
I don't think my wife. I invested a lot up front with the camera and the fucking fancy ass computer and the video game library and everything. It's not that I haven't put in any money, because I've invested in the project more.
Because you believe in it, goddammit.
More than my wife would like to know.
Uh-oh.
I've invested into this project. But it's at a point now where like I don't have to invest my own money, and I can actually pay my co-hosts. And
Love it.
It's great. It's fucking fantastic. I love it. I absolutely fucking.
It's on the way, gosh darn it.
So that once we start making like a couple G's a month, be like, okay, it's at a point where like I can get an office space, I can pay an editor, and I can pay someone to follow me around with a camera while I go, I don't know, like fucking do the cinnamon challenge while doing Fortnite dances, whatever the fuck kids want to see.
Right. Heavier into the content creation. Yeah.
Yeah. That ultimately is the goal. And I think voice acting and getting convention appearances is going to play into making DickPlanet profitable enough. Because if I can build a fan base here and say, oh, I also do this thing over here, check that out. You know what I mean? It's just like a ring of fucking.
It's the right. So you're saying that the main draw, the funnel basically is the top of the funnel would be, okay, your exposure as a voice actor on these different things where now the fan bases of those shows that you'll be on will see you and get to know you, and then they see DickPlanet, they're like, or at least you'll direct them. Maybe they'll see you on like Twitter, right? So it's like that step of the
like this.
Right, exactly. Right, like it's that funnel where ultimately you want them to go into the DickPlanet because you love doing it and you would love for more people to be part of that community, join, and building that up more, right?
And
it makes sense.
I hate referring to it as work, and I hate words like profit and dividends and all that shit. It's too businessy because it doesn't feel like work, man. It doesn't. I love doing it.
That's how you know you're onto something, baby.
Yeah. It's not work for me. Like, I know some streamers are like, what's up, guys? How's it going?
Wasn't me. That's not me. That's not me. No, I got you.
They have to put on that happy face, and it can really get to them. And I've seen so many documentaries on like burnout and like how like Twitch streamers suffer from burnout. How content creation is like just eating through the lives of these young people.
But it fuels you.
I feel really lucky.
It fuels you when you do it.
Yeah. Like, it's like, oh man, like I have a busy schedule of like creative shit to do. Fuck yes. Like, let's get it done, bitch. Like, I'm not like, now if I had like a fucking stack of like engineering documents to go through, that's not fun.
Right.
But if I have a stack of like gifts to make, fucking messages to send out, fucking, like contracts to sign, like if it's all creative shit, that's not work to me, dog.
Or even better, right. I'm sure after a long day at your job, you think, thank God I can go stream now, right?
Yes. And I hope and I pray that it never becomes a job for me to stream. And so far, I've been at it for over a year. I've only missed like 3 days of streaming circumstances.
Which is that's amazing. That's kudos on you. That's amazing.
Yeah, I haven't missed too much. And I plan to keep it up.
Yeah, the only thing I would offer, I don't, if I had to put my thoughts on content and stuff, and from what I've seen and heard from other people, what I would strongly consider is probably looking into doing something like a Patreon, because I'm sure a lot of people in your community, if they hear all these big plans and how you want to grow it more and more and bring DickPlanet to Earth, right? I think they would very much want to help out in that way. And not to mention the money, the money that you want to put into DickPlanet, you'd be getting more of a split from Patreon than on Twitch. So I would just think about it. Think about it as maybe like let me hear your thoughts.
I've considered
Push back on it.
Patreon.
Give it, hit it.
No. I've considered Patreon and like Coffee and like
Mhm,
OnlyFans, all that shit. I've considered it, honestly, you know. And
Talk to me. Talk to me.
part of me is yes, and part of me is no.
Talk to me.
The yes part of me is saying it's their money and they can spend it on whatever they like. They're adults.
Mhm,
You know what I mean?
mhm.
And if they want to throw $20 a month at me, I'll take it. I'm grateful. Because they're adults and they know what they're doing. The other half of me is like very hardworking. Is like I want to make it on my own steam, if I can. But I have to remind myself like this is the entertainment business. Part of it is taking money from your fans. Like as much as you hate how blunt that is,
Well,
because I do.
okay.
You know what I mean? I do hate how blunt that is, taking money from your fans. That's just, and you can ask Ellie and Cole. Like at the beginning, I did not want to enable monetization on Twitch. I did not want bits. I did not want subs. I told people, and it got to the point where people were requesting it so much that I was more trouble not having it than it was having it. And it, guys, to anybody who's ever donated 1 bit, 100 bits, 1,000 bits,
Opened the window in a tab and muted it. Anyone.
yeah. In anything, I just know that I'm eternally grateful. I really am. So I'm not gonna say no to Patreon. Part of me doesn't want to do it, but I don't want people to pull up the stream years from now when I inevitably have one and say, "You said you didn't want one, but now you got one."
Sure.
My main hiccup with not doing Patreon right now is I just don't have the content to reward people for the money they give me, and I would feel scummy just taking money for nothing. You know what I mean?
But it's, I mean, so I'm gonna. This is fun. I didn't plan on this, so that's why I'm having so much fun with this. So,
Go for it, buddy. Go for it. I'm an open book.
I want to make sure I understand your position. So you're saying part of you feels like that the money that you'd be raising through doing these types of things, with your first stumbling block of even first enabling this monetization, is that you feel like you wanted to kind of like bootstrap it off of your own like hard work, and like you want to put your blood, sweat, and tears and money into it to grow it. Is that more or less?
I want to create the demand before I make it, essentially. I want people to be asking me to make a Patreon because they want more content. I don't want to be, "Oh, please subscribe to my Patreon and I'll give you content." I want, "Jacob, I want more content. How can we get it?"
So
Well, if I had more money, I'd have more time. You know what I mean? But that demand's not there. Like I think whenever I make a Patreon, if I do, it would be something in the vein of like an exclusive YouTube channel that only Patreon members can see, or something like that, or maybe even a non-pornographic OnlyFans.
That could be funny.
Because they have. I know OnlyFans.
OnlyFans pays out more than Twitch, so it's not a bad idea.
I know it's for like porn content, and I don't know if
That's the meme, baby.
Rules to post non-porn content.
You can do whatever you want on there. I'm pretty sure. Or okay, you
But,
can
like,
do non-porn. I'm pretty sure.
I mean, they have like video support. They have like fucking picture support. It's like I might fucking get into this OnlyFans. But I think
Do it. The
Patreon
memes.
too.
I think OnlyFans would be on brand for DickPlanet.
I think it would.
I think it's on brand.
I would make bank for guys who like subscribe to all these OnlyFans things, and their wife sees them as, "What's this OnlyFans?" Like, "Oh, I subscribe to this DickPlanet thing." But no, I mean, I don't want to make a Patreon if the demand for the content isn't there. And as much as I love my fan base, I'm very well aware that it's far too small to merit the demand for me making a YouTube channel and devoting time to creating quality content for Patreon. Like, because I don't want like, "Hey guys, thanks for $20 a month. As a reward, you're gonna get to have like a 5-minute call from me on Discord." That's shitty. I don't want that. You know what I mean? That's like, first off, I ain't shit. Like, I'm just a guy. Like, so like talking to me is not a privilege that you have to pay for.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, so I don't want that, because I know some content creators do that, and I just don't. That's so not who I am. If you want to talk to me, like, if I'm available, buddy, I'll talk to you. I'll talk to anybody. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like, talking to me is not a privilege.
Right. You don't want to paywall anyone getting access to you.
Yeah, exactly. Now, if it's like, okay, Jacob's making a short film, that's reasonable. That costs money. That costs money to make. That's money that Jacob would have to take out of his child's mouth and put into this short film.
We don't do that here.
If the demand for the short film is there and people are willing to pay for it, first off, I would be honored that they would trust me with their money and the creative process to make something. Second off, that's the only way that would be able to happen, is if
paying for that specific service.
If were people paying for Jacob to make a short film or skits or anything like that. But the demand for that isn't there right now. You know what I mean? And maybe in the future it will be. That's why I'm not saying no outright to a Patreon. But I would feel scummy taking money for nothing.
Do you think it would be easier where you're at right now if you had more money to throw to DickPlanet to make more / other content?
Yes, but if I had that money, I wouldn't put it behind Patreon. You know, if I had the money and the means to do it now, I would just do it and put it out there for anybody who wants to see it. You know, so the Patreon would be a catalyst to making the content.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That people would want to see, which they might justify paying money into a Patreon because they want to see more and they could get more by giving more. I think one thing to think about is
but right now, honestly, if I made a Patreon right now, I'd get like $20 a month, and that's not enough to give those subscribers the content that they deserve for their $20. You know what I mean?
I'm thinking.
So like if I had like 400 people saying, "Hey, I'll give you $500 a month," or not
then
$5 a month.
I don't know. I mean, well, okay. So let's put it this way: you already have the proof that people are willing to put money into DickPlanet by virtue of the subs, support, donations. I'm sure all of that, right?
Which I'm very grateful for.
So that's kind of like in business sense, like you have the proof saying that this is potentially profitable. I guess all I just wanted to put on your radar is that Patreon, you would be making more money even if everyone stopped doing subs and stuff and they just did a Patreon. Like you would get even a bigger cut to then potentially put into it. I don't know. I don't want to talk too much like I actually know anything about Patreon and doing it and everything, but I like the gears turning of business stuff for content creation like that.
Oh, dude. I mean, you run also Baller Squad. If you're here, check out weebshirts.com. Weebshirts.com.
It's okay.
Check it out. I gotta plug the boy here. They got really cool designs over at weebshirts.com.
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 Shake my head.
Check it out.
But I really love hearing about it, and it's one of those things. Like the only reason I'm pitching so much is because like I'm so excited about the DickPlanet thing that I'm like, damn, I want to throw in some money to help you accomplish and realize these things. So if I believe in it, and all these other people who obviously hugely support it, something to consider. I don't know, but I completely understand what you're saying. Really, what I'm hearing is you want to do it well. Like if someone is going to be so gracious enough to give you even a single penny, you want to make sure you want to make sure they get that whatever gratitudeness worth like 5, 10, 20 times over. And that's admirable. Like that's amazing. Like that's how it should be. Like
you can ask the guys, the Baller Squad in our for our merch, for our first t-shirt, like people's like we want to buy t-shirts. It's I'm sure you can imagine getting like 20 to 30 messages. People's like, hey, let me give you money. I don't care what it costs. I just want to like be able to like support your brand on my chest. And I was like, I could get a Teespring and I could get you a really cheap ass fucking screen print on a Gildan shirt and Bob Trump will take your money. I don't want to do that. I don't want to fucking do that. So you can ask my chat. Like I fucking went to like warehouses and I was like, show me your production process, show me what goes into making these shirts, how much does it cost, what material is it made out of, what ink do you use, what
silk screen or is it whatever.
Exactly. And I did a fuck ton of research. I bought a fuck ton of shirts that just different brands, different materials. I washed them and it because like if someone's gonna give me money, let me digress. If someone paid $25 for a DickPlanet t-shirt out of the kind of their heart and said, yeah, I'm on fire for this brand, I want to support Jacob, Cole, and Ellie, I want to give them my money and I want to put my money where my mouth is. And they said, you know what, Jacob, here's like $30, which for like a 14-year-old kid, that's a lot of fucking money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's like fuck a lot of money.
That's allowance.
Like, here's $30 on the support your brand. I can't wait to get my t-shirt. And they get it. And it's like shitty. I would feel horrible,
bad.
Like on a personal level.
Yeah,
I would feel so
die
bad.
a little.
I don't know, that kid would be like, yeah, it's okay. Like it's still supporting my channel, No, little homie. Like I want you to get like good shit. So I mean, there's a screen printing company here in Houston that I'm working very, very closely with. Well, they have this really nice. It's called sublimation ink printing.
Yeah. Okay. Where
it actually like stains the shirt, with the dyes and everything like that. The shirts are like this really nice Bella Canvas style shirts.
Okay.
They're very affordable. It's a little more expensive than Gildan, a little more expensive than Hanes, but they're comfortable. They're breathable.
Point. That's the point. Yeah.
Yeah. And we're gonna price them in a way where we only make like minimum. And because we don't work with fucking Redbubble. We don't work with fucking Teespring. We can reduce our prices because that's a margin that's not being taken out by them. You know what I mean? Like we can charge lower prices than Teespring because any money that they would have been making are made by us. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm gonna need the name of that thing. You said it's local here in Houston?
Yeah, you know who they are. I'll tell you who they are. Their company is under wraps, but yeah, you already know who they are. I'll hook you up. I'll hook you up.
Let me know. Because I'm always that's definitely something. Obviously, with what I do, that'd be really like relevant. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. Because I remember you had posted on Facebook a little bit ago of like a gigantic fucking printing like screen. I guess it was the sublimation or maybe the screen printing machine that was like making one of the shirts. And I was like, bruh.
Yeah, dude. Like
top notch.
I took a tour of their warehouse, and like it was very, very kind of them. Something that they, by all means, they shouldn't just let some guy in their warehouse.
Like, hey guys, I'm J Taka.
But I was like, fuck, like I was like, guys, like,
you know about Crazy Frog?
Serious. Yeah, exactly. We'll talk about Crazy Frog's dick for an hour. They took me back in their warehouse. They showed me their process. Like, this is how we make the shirts. Every shirt is custom made to order. This is the man who is making your shirts. Shake his hand. It meant the world to me because like, if somebody orders a shirt and they got a problem, I can go to the motherfucker who made the shirt.
Listen here, buddy.
Like, hey, make this right.
That's
you know
amazing.
What I mean?
Gotcha.
Which is something I can't get with Teespring. If Teespring sends out a shitty shirt, what am I gonna do? Send Teespring an email for them to ignore? You know, like I can't do that. You know what I mean?
Got it. I love it. I
Here,
love
there's
this
a
little
problem, I can be
tangent.
like, you know,
I love this tangent. This is the passion that goes behind DickPlanet, and this is the passion behind the man known as Jacob J Taka Takanashi.
Because if like Turtle Sages or Bones or somebody like orders a shirt and they hit me up and they're like, hey Jacob, like, you know, the colors on my shirt are wrong. Look at this. I can go to the dude who printed it and be like, hey, what's your fucking problem? Like are we gonna have an issue? Like these are, you know, you're affecting my business. You know, if Teespring does that, I have no recourse. So that's why it was another reason why it was very important to me.
Gotcha. I love it. Y'all hear the passion in this man's voice for the DickPlanet. I love it. No, I mean, it's serious. You know, it shows the dedication that you have for this, you know, this effort to make sure that you're taking it very seriously because it matters to them, because it's that, and
they matter to me.
Right. And I totally get that, like that you want to do right by them, and so you're gonna like move heaven and earth to make sure, you know, that there's no spot that's not supposed to be there on the shirt or something, you know.
Well, I mean, the Butler Squad takes care of me, so I want to take care of them. Yeah. You know what I mean? I want to make sure every dollar that they put in, every hour that they spend watching, I want to make sure that they get top-notch shit out of it, you know, because I mean, they're my family. Like I look at this. Like if I'm printing a shirt for I don't know if I can, like Mediocre Chef, he's a regular. If I'm printing a shirt for him, I mean, this guy is genuinely my friend. Like he has my cell phone number. He can text me anytime he wants.
He could ship post right now.
Yeah. Like he's I mean, when you make shit for your friends, don't you want it to be good?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Makes sense. I love it. That's that sense of community.
Yeah.
Family. Magma.
Yeah. Baller Squad is. Yeah, smegma. The smegma binds us.
Jesus Christ. Oh my God. All right. I want to be respectful of your time. I think we hit a nice, beautiful part to kind of end up on. Is there anything you would like to say that maybe we didn't touch on, we didn't talk about, anything you wanted people to know about DickPlanet going forward, about you going forward, your wonderful wife, baby on the way? The floor is yours to bring us and close us out.
Yeah, I want to take a quick minute to talk about Raycon brand earbuds. They're not like those other. I'm joking.
Let's talk about
I'm joking.
NordVPN / J Taka.
Right, but in all seriousness, one thing I did want to hit on before we left was if you sign up to Raid Shadow Legends.
Oh my fucking Christ! That's it. That's the show, everyone. That's the show. Thanks, everyone. We're fucking done.
Thank you so much for having me on, Marz. It was a pleasure.
Nothing. Tell your family you love them.
I love you, Baller Squad.
Aww.
Shout out to the Baller Squad. For every bit, for every hour, for every lurk, from the bottom of my heart, it genuinely means the world to me. And know that you're genuinely making the difference in a 30-year-old man Texan's life. So, thank you.
Love it. Love it. Thanks so much for being on. It was a pleasure to talk to you. You are a pleasure. You're great. Te quiero mucho. To everyone who tuned in, everyone's watching, thank you all so much. And we'll keep in touch. It might not be the first one, and hopefully people can look back and be like, oh my God, look, this is from before his hit show or before this one thing he had on. So that's part of the reason I have people. Yeah.
You're the first person to interview me since my casting, so
listen.
This will be
that's my whole trick with this podcast is I get all these friends and I'm like, yes, this will pay off in 5 to 10 to 15 to 30 years. I was there.
He thinks I'm organizing a Super Smash tournament, but little does he know.
Yep, I'm lurking. Nah, I really do appreciate it. Wish you nothing the best. And we'll keep in touch. Thank you. All right, that's it. Boom. We're cutting it. That's it.